Hey guys, welcome back to
Talking Dog Shit.
We got it on the first try, can you believe it? I did prep them. All right, you're probably asking who the hell this is next to me, right? Well, who are you?
My name is Joe Farewell. I like to shoot guns. I'm actually a professional shooter, if you could call me that, but I get to shoot just about every day. I travel the country, shoot competitions, and train people how to shoot.
So you're probably asking, what the hell is a dog trainer doing sitting next to a professional competition shooter in a podcast? Well, great question. He just found out why he's here a little while ago to himself. So.
By a little while ago, we were like 30 seconds ago.
Not joking, right? So I know it's been a while since we put one of these out, guys, and it's honestly a little bit because of what we're going to talk about today. There's been a huge shift in the dog training world in about the last 6 to 12 months specifically here, and this video is going to be kind of tailored towards more the dog trainer side versus the client side, but there's going to be a lot of good information for the client side in there as well on changes that you may see coming up in our business model here very soon. So the reason I got Joe on today is obviously, look at him. That's going to sell right there. I got to get some views for that, right? So
probably not. If I'm supposed to be the eye candy, we're gonna have to work on your marketing ability here, brother.
So other than that, so Joe is in a, you would call, very competitive space,
yes.
Right? And no pun intended. Yes, he's a competition shooter, but meaning the firearms industry, the training world, all that good stuff.
There are a lot of us out there. Yeah, there's a lot of instructors out there. There's a lot of people that are trying to get into the instruction side. And the funny thing, probably similar with the dog world and the shooting world, there are some governing bodies that can certify you as an instructor, but there's also nothing that says I'm an instructor, or really anybody can say that they are an instructor. Oof. Anyone can step in and say, hey, I've been shooting my whole life. I'm gonna be an instructor now. You can come and pay me to teach you how to shoot. And there's a lot of those people out there. And you'll see it in the quality of the students that they're putting out. And some of those are frankly just terrifying. And I'm sure similar crossover in your world.
So, I mean, that's a perfect point to open up with. So same thing in our world. Like, there is no like true governing body of the dog trainer world, all right? And for the client side, it's great information for you guys here. Yeah, there's some professional schools you can go to. There's some certifications you can get, but realistically, you could just own a dog and be like, I'm a dog trainer now. I think I know everything. You know, I can do this and I can charge.
Saw a video on YouTube.
Literally, right? Yeah. You got YouTube University and
yeah.
There's a lot of great knowledge out there for sure. But as a dog training world, that sucks for people like us. Like, we've been in this for, over a decade already. Like, I've put my hours in. I've gone to school. I've done all the certifications. And then here comes, whoever, and it's like, yeah, I've had dogs my entire life. I'm a dog trainer now, right? Mm-hmm. And you as the consumer, you don't get to see that because all you see is that trainer, dog trainer, right? We see that ad, dog training, and there's nothing that stops them from doing that, right? Whether they are the greatest dog trainer in the world or a horrible dog trainer, they're out there. And that's very similar to what you're at right now in the field you're in, because anyone can enter, which is a blessing and a curse.
It is, and it like you said, it's a blessing and a curse because when I got into training firearms, I didn't have a whole lot of background. I was out there shooting, and I would do like basic pistol courses, and I did take a lot of courses after that, not after that, but before that too. Went through the police academy, went through law enforcement, firearms instructor schools, and all of those types of things. But all of those things contributed to where I am as an instructor today. Mm-hmm. And they kind of laid the groundwork for that. But my certifications, they didn't come until later. And I was able to step into the space and put the work in and learn how to be a good instructor and learn how to teach effectively, how to communicate effectively. And the raw skills that are required, kind of similar to the dog side of things, but the raw shooting skills that are required to be a good instructor. But, to put a stop on somebody from coming in and saying, hey, you don't know this, or this, so you can't instruct yet. It's one of those things like, where's the line of regulation that they should be doing this, but also just like any other job, we want to hire people with experience, but if you don't have experience, how do you get experience by doing it?
Yeah.
So
it's like, where do you gatekeep and where do you not? Like,
right.
Like where do I agree? Because like I said, it's that blessing and curse where maybe I don't have all the money to go pay for all these courses and all that stuff, but I've been shooting my entire life. I've been training dogs my entire life, and I've helped family and friends, and they give me good feedback. So maybe I can help a handful of people as well. But at the same time, do you really know enough?
Yeah, yeah.
Especially in your world. I mean, that's a whole other level. Is you got safety involved and et cetera.
For
there.
sure.
So, worst case here, the dog doesn't get trained that well. Worst case there, it could be pretty bad.
And on that note, like when I look at instructors, because there's good instructors out there and there's bad instructors out there, just like in anything else.
Of course.
When I look at instructors, I look at, are they following fundamental firearm safety? Because if they're not doing that, then I can already tell you, don't go down that road. Okay, that's the first thing I would look at.
Absolutely.
As a student looking for an instructor, are they following basic firearm safety? If they're not, don't even bother. Okay, that's step number one. And we've all seen the videos on YouTube, on Instagram, of instructors or classes doing just absolutely, holding a target up and shooting the target. That's not. Don't ever just walk away. Is there anything like that in the dog training world that you look at and say immediately, oh, if you see this that's not being done or is being done, stay the hell away?
A little bit. So I guess the definite no would be the person that says it's my way or no way, right? There's no other options out there, et cetera, because in the dog training world, there are so many different approaches you can take. There's so many different training methods. And at the end of the day, they all actually get some form of results, no matter what. But if there's someone that's like, nope, 100%, this is the way we do it, there's no other way, there's no other options, I'd stay away from that real quick. Second is, one of the best questions you can ask a dog trainer is why, right? Why? If they're telling you to do this, this, and this with your dog and can't give you an explanation of the why, I'd run away. Yeah. Because that means they're just trying to probably replicate something they saw online, or they got lucky with once with the dog and they're gonna think it works every single time. There has to be a why behind it, right? There is an actual science to this. There is a way to get into this dog's brain. There's all form of conditioning that gets done. So if the person can't give you a why, I'd say stay away.
I think that applies to the shooting world too. I love to ask why, because people will often bring ideas from other instructors, or especially new instructors coming in. I learned this in the military. That's why we do it, because we always did it this way. Well, that's great, but why do you do that way? So you have a goal. And for the shooting side, I always say there's three things that I compare it against. Number one, does it make you more or less accurate? Number two, does it make you faster or slower? And number three, does it make you more or less consistent? And if it doesn't add up to those three things, chuck it.
Yeah, don't need
right?
it. Don't need it. Right?
And that's how I evaluate anything that I'm teaching or any piece of gear that I'm introduced to. And I'm sure there's a kind of a similar standard for that in the dog training world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be results driven. Like, where's your proof? Where's your, I've done this, right? Like here, we're one of the bigger dog training companies in the country, honestly. We do hundreds, if not thousands of dogs here. And comparisons, smaller companies maybe do 100 dogs a year.
Yeah.
We're at the 800 to 1,000 dogs a year mark, right? So we're one of the bigger companies. And I mean, that speaks for itself right there. Like, there's not 800 people showing up here if it doesn't work. Yeah. And there's a question we get asked a lot during our evals. It's like, well, what's your success rate? And I'm like, well, it's probably about 90, 95%. And they look at me when I say that, and I'm like, well, it's never 100.
Yeah.
Like, there's no such thing as a 100% success rate in this field. We're working with an animal. We're also working with an animal that a human must follow up to do what the animal needs to do. All right. Yeah. So there's so many variables there. But even still, that higher percentage, and then people will look at me like, oh, that makes more sense, right? You're being honest. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you I'm 100% successful here. It doesn't happen like that there. So I think for us, it'd be results driven. Like, how many dogs you do a year? Where's the success on those dogs? Where's the video proof of these dogs? Yeah. Which is another shift in the dog world right now, is like, we're not seeing these new age trainers, I'll call them, put out these results. But yet they want to preach about what they can do, but we're not showing what we can do.
Oh, I love that.
Right? And if you can't show it in my book, it doesn't happen. It's not real.
I'll tell you the same thing happens in my industry as well. As You get a lot of instructors out there that will put up, either just flashy shooting videos where they just run a drill or something like that, or
they probably
hype.
practiced 8,000 times to get it, and they got the one clip that worked.
Yep. Hype videos where they put cuts and edits and music and loading mag, and they're all cool. They have their place.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I started doing early on was I would put out content on my social media for free that was valuable, like teaching points that people take away from a class, and they're like, this, I was able to apply this to my own skill set, and then also put out my own shooting in a manner that's not curated and edited. So I would put out competition videos where I'm actually shooting matches, or I had a series that I called One Take Wednesday that was a lot of fun because it was just my first shots of the day, and I wouldn't cut it or edit it, and I would have to be able, I would have to be able to communicate and run the drill and show my hits, and if it was good or bad, then it is what it is, and that creates some realism, some humanity to it, and the proof's in the pudding, because I would still be able to perform pretty well. I would still have mess ups, but it's not this perfectly curated, everything's always perfect all the time, and it allows you to kind of share what your mentality is. And I've seen videos like you're talking about in the dog world, of these,
they're just talking.
Great theoretical videos, but where's the
proof?
Where's the balance?
And one thing you could probably stay away from as well is the trainer that's only showing their demo dog. Right? Like a lot of my videos, you'll see I rarely use my own dog unless it's something I have to, or it's a specific behavior, etc. But I try to use our training dogs, client dogs, because your dog is not going to be my dog, never. Right? He's bred for this. Like, he's an extremely high level working dog. He's bred to do this stuff. He's annoying as hell to live with. All right, realistically, he's an annoying dog to live with. I love him to death, but if he's not working, he's spinning. We call it buffering around here. Like, he literally buffers in circles when he's not doing something. Right?
Looking for work.
But secondary, it's unfair for me to be like, look what I can do.
Yeah.
It's like the Ferrari of dogs, and here's your Honda Accord, and you want me to make it that way. It's not going to happen, right? So for me, I can't showcase my dog doing all this stuff. And as a trainer, as a client, if you're looking for a potential trainer, like, look for those signs. Like, are they only showing this flashy dog? Because if they are, your dog's not going to be that dog, right? And if they promise you that, straight lies. Promise you that, straight lies. So you brought in a little tidbit there that I want to add is the online content, right? I know you have a very successful online library, course, etc. going on there. What made you decide to go into that route?
For me, I look at it as there's only like 3 or 4 ways that I can scale a business like this. Okay, for me, I can either add more people in my classes. For you, add more dogs, right?
Yep.
I don't like to overload my classes because then you're not getting the one-on-one training that you need. I can hire instructors under me, okay, and for that, there's potential there, but you have to have typically a range. You have that ability to hire some more people that are good trainers, and that's the other aspect of it, is you have to hire good people if you want your brand to continue to grow with the same reputation. So you have increased numbers, increased instructors, increased number of classes, okay, that you're doing individually. At my peak, I was doing over 120 classes a year. Ooh. Which
that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of classes. And then, so I want to scale that back a little bit because, like, I have kids. I want to see them from time to time. It's kind of nice to do. But the fourth option is to scale it online. And you can reach a lot more people online, whether through podcasts, through online social media, free social media, or through paid courses. And I have grown my social media just by giving free information away. And I do some of those fun videos, the fun drills or the cool edits from my buddy James here. Yeah, keep it interesting, right? We got to change it up.
Yeah.
And then I also have heavy content saturated courses that are the equivalent of you coming to a 2-day class. It's packed into video modules where you're able to consume them, and there's full instruction and breakdowns and accompanying guides and stuff like that. And I do that through my Dry Fire Mastery, is what I call it, dryfiremastery.com. And that's
insert link below.
Yeah, click down below. But that's all. If you guys are interested in the shooting world, that's what I do. I do handgun fundamentals all the way through competition and 3-gun, and we're working on a rifle course here soon. So there's a lot of aspects to that, as well as the community side where you can ask questions and interact, and we have calls and stuff like that where it does build a community. I call it my dry fire crew, and it's fun, and it's another way to learn, and I'm sure there's got to be some of that in dog world.
Well, that's one of the reasons we're having this video right now, is because that's where you're going to see a lot of shift coming now, guys. I took a quick break, actually a pretty long break from social media in general, honestly, because I was fed up. I was tired of it. But we're back on it now. We're going to try to be pretty heavy on it. But Joe and I have been friends now for a little while, and probably over the last year, we've had numerous business conversations as well. And I got a lot of insight from him on that, on how to build that online library of just content. So yes, you're going to see free content coming at you, but there's also going to be some paid content in there where they are a lot more in depth, like you said, because I've learned that there's only one of me, and I can only be in so many places at once, right? So in order for me to share our knowledge and get you guys where you need to be with your dogs, we need to spread out a little more, and that's going to be through that online content.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, that's where we're trying to head now. So.
Well, and for you guys, there's a huge value in online content. I know when I was getting into the shooting world and like developing my skills as not only a shooter but also an instructor, I still consume a lot of online content. I bought an online course last week. It was $400 just for me to get a little bit more information, see another point of view on something. Yeah. And that's coming from the top of the game, so to speak, in my world. And as a newer shooter, I got a lot of value from online content, not just free content, but from paid content too. And it's cheap compared to an in-person class. You know, you take a $500 course online versus a $1,000 course in person, plus the cost of ammo and travel and all the extra stuff. Like it's huge. Yeah. Plus the benefit of being able to consume it in bite-sized chunks. Like that's what I do with my courses. I try to create these videos and this content in a way that you're able to consume it in bite-sized pieces, so you actually retain it. Versus, hey, we're going to throw all of this stuff at you over the course of 8 hours or 6 hours, and you better remember it. Yeah. And if you don't remember it, it's gone. Yeah. Well, no, with online, you have the ability to say, hey, I want to take 15 minutes a day and split this 8-hour course up over 15 minutes a day, and I'm going to remember each chunk of it instead of having to go back to the 8-hour course over.
Process it more. So, all right, well, this is one of those videos that was a little unorthodox per se, I guess, like always. But hopefully you guys seen a lot of the comparisons. Hopefully
you do realize the name of this show, right?
I do.
I mean, that's unorthodox in itself.
But hopefully we were able to bring some, what's it called? Like shed some light on where we're headed here in the future, very near future. We are going to be, like I said, producing the online content and pushing it out there as much as we can. And I want to thank Joe for taking the time for being here today. You know, he's got a busy schedule and so forth. And yeah, hopefully we made the connection on why I got this guy standing next to me today.
Thanks for having me on, brother.
So one more question before we leave. Do you like dragons?
I love dragons.
He loves dragons. That's all I got to say. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next episode of
Talking Dog Shit.
Woo, 2 for 2. Later, guys.